Okay.
So we're live. I mean, we're not live, but like anything
Recording.
can and will be held against you in the court of law.
Yeah,
How are you
will do.
doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm very good. I just had a long day of work, so I will be consuming a relaxant. But
That's real. I am doing my hair, so that is also so multitasking.
oh, nice! I like that.
Yeah, also the premise of like teaching something new. I was like, well, I am well versed in like hair, so I'll share
Really?
about yeah, well not well versed, but like
Okay.
I
Well,
can do my own hair. Yeah.
that's a blind spot for me, obviously, in general.
Oh,
But
oh,
like,
I see it. Okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. But I do I like today I'm like completely disheveled. This is like the longest I think I'll let myself go on a YouTube video, but
Uh-huh.
but I've hit my
Sure.
limit in terms like I was just like, ah, whatever, I got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, since we're talking about hair and appearance, I've become very aware of it lately
Mm-hmm.
because I used to only do the show as an audio podcast
Mm-hmm.
for like 100 episodes, and now I'm taking this on because why not? It's an art. It feels lazy to do an art podcast that doesn't have video. So you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah. I mean
if
it's
Joe
a
Rogan can do it.
I actually because that's X Factor guy. Is that the X
No,
Factor?
no. Joe Rogan is the guy. He used to be. It's something similar. It's the Fear Factor.
Fear
Yeah,
Factor. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I
I
think
just
X Factor is like a singing competition.
sure that makes sense. I did not know what or who that was, who he was until like recently. He was a stand-up comedian beforehand. Like I have
Yeah, he
a
kind of
background.
became, and he was on a show with like in the and like he was on a sitcom in the early
Mm-hmm.
90s when he was
Okay.
really that's when he came on my radar. But yeah,
Okay.
he's like a big podcaster now with a huge
Okay.
voice that is like it makes all the people that are actively involved in like or like I mean I like politics but not like Democrats versus Republican politics.
Mm-hmm. Because what's
But I
that?
think what's that?
Oh no, no, I was just saying because what is that system? It's clearly not
Yeah,
working. Yeah,
exactly.
please continue.
But let me introduce you and the show. Welcome to What's My Thesis. I'm Javier Proenza. Every week, my guests and I share the answers we found to the questions we have. Join us as we explore and expand our worldview through research and ask what's my thesis. And we use the term research loosely. But today, my guest is Chelsea Flower. Is
Yes.
that
Hello.
correct?
Yeah, Chelsea Flowers.
Flowers. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
No
I
worries.
always want to double check. Like my intros always go like that a little bit. But yeah, I invited you. You've been very patient with me in terms
Oh,
of scheduling because it's been a crazy year. I saw my end of the year wrap up and I put out 27 episodes and I was like, oh man. That's how much it was like overwhelming of a year.
I
But it's
mean,
good to
yeah.
finally have you on. How have
Yeah,
you
thank
been?
you. Thank you for having me. I've been all right. Also, I feel like the whole like being kind to ourselves during this time because literally March is coming around in a few months. And
Yeah.
like I just don't know where time has gone.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean I've been okay. I've been working, like I've been working
Mhm.
a lot. Um and like art stuff and like some like art practice, but then also like money because art's great, but doesn't always it does not
Mhm.
pay many of my bills. So
Yeah.
yeah, so just like working literally and trying to stay inside
Yeah.
when I'm not working. Yeah, so how about yourself?
Well, I've been working as well, and I'm working in a situation where I come across a lot of people because I work at a retailer that sells instruments, and
Mhm.
it gets pretty packed, but it's also kind of a surreal experience. I've been telling people, maybe I've said it on the show before, because I'm in a bubble where my coworkers have jobs too, and the only
Mhm.
people that are coming into the store are like have money to buy things. Uh,
Mhm.
and so yeah, the reality I'm very much sheltered from like what's happening to a lot of people, especially like
Mhm.
right now. It is a very, very crazy time, obviously, to be having a conversation, period. But
Mhm.
you know, it's It's like you're seeing all this stuff with like restaurants and businesses and whatnot, and
Mhm.
it's kind of weird who's allowed to stay open and who's allowed not to, or who's not allowed to, and
Mhm.
it seems like a very difficult time for a lot of people who really worked hard, like way harder than me, you
Mhm.
know, and uh I don't know how I feel about that because you know
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking. It's just like uh yeah, but I mean, I don't mean to bum us out, but like that's just kind of what's been on my mind mostly. You caught me
Mhm.
at the end of a work day.
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't
no,
wake
there's
up.
no worries. I mean, like this. I mean, also, I feel like I mean, like while it feels it could feel repetitive, like being able to talk about it is like super cathartic.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is like, I mean, for me, like once again, doing my hair for me, like doing my hair is like very cathartic. So it's just like when shit doesn't make any sense, like you know,
Yeah.
you know, just engulfing it or like I don't know, talking about it, like it might be repetitive, but like at least it makes sense
Hmm.
or it's a
Yeah.
form of coping or whatever. At least for me.
Well, that's kind of why I'm still committed to trying to commit to do this, you know.
Mhm.
Like right now I'm sitting in a tanning bed essentially, which is kind of out of my
Nice.
comfort zone, but I have like a light here and a light here,
Mhm.
and like a camera in my face, but so all of this is like new, but I'm definitely like I've gone through periods where I was too busy with work and like trying to have some semblance of a life that like I kind of let weeks slide. But then I felt like there was a little something missing.
Mhm.
And even before COVID, I mean, I do go out and I interact with people and I have like close friends that I hang out with, but I'm prone
Mhm.
to go through bouts where I'm just like kind of reclusive. And
Mhm.
so the show essentially is in part that. So like when I started working again, I was just so overwhelmed with like everything that I was like, ah, I'm gonna be too grumpy. Like
For sure.
no one wants to hear me be this bitter. But yeah,
I love bitter. I love
yeah,
I have a great group chat with people I went to grad school with, and it's just like, well, not bitter, but it's petty. Bitter
yeah.
and petty. So I love it. Really do love it.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to school. I went to grad school. It's Cranbrook. It's in the Detroit area.
Okay.
Um, it
Are you from
is.
Michigan?
No, I'm from Cleveland originally. But
Okay.
I'm actually in Detroit by way of the Bay.
Hmm.
I like moved out to the Bay because I couldn't find a job in Ohio. And then for some reason left, went back to the Midwest to this shitty cold weather. No, I don't know. I don't know. But yes,
Yeah.
I'm originally from Cleveland, living in Detroit now. Yep.
I've heard nice things about Cleveland. I mean, I'm sure it gets fucking cold, but
I mean, yeah. So I'm sorry, where are you in LA?
yeah.
Okay, that's yeah, comparatively to LA, I have a friend who lives in LA currently from Cleveland and she's like, "No, I'm not coming back. Like, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
I will come back for a day like on, the Christmas break, but that's about it." I was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah."
but I also feel that way about Miami, so you
About
know,
Miami being cold or not wanting to go back to it.
I just not wanting to go back to it because it's more about feeling like there's not that much to do there anymore for me. You
Mm,
know, like I knew a bunch of people there, but I
mhm.
think a lot of them just left. Maybe some of them are here and we don't even hang out over here. So
That's
it's one
real.
of those things. So where are you right now?
I am like physically where am I currently? I'm
Yeah.
in my house, which
No, in
is
LA,
oh
in
no, sorry. I'm in Detroit.
you're in
Yeah.
Detroit. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
I think I kind
Um
of knew that, but then I lose track because there's so many people on Instagram.
no,
But
sure, yeah.
so like how's Detroit? Because I don't know. There was a time. Okay, I'll frame it like this. I was very annoyed when I watched. There's a British show called Top Gear. It's a TV show about cars. Maybe you know it.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if you do.
No.
The guy from that got fired because he beat up his producer, and
Okay.
then the show tanked, and so then Amazon Prime bought the show and started showing it there. And so they did a piece on Detroit where it was like so like insensitive to like there was like they were doing an anti-green thing where they were like, oh, these community gardens and all of this shit, and like we're shitting on all of it, and even ran over one like as a
Mhm.
bit. And so I don't like, to me that was kind of a heartbreaking thing, because I mean it was when was it that Detroit was hit really hard?
Was it
Was it 2008 or
Yeah, if it wasn't '07, then it was '08. Yeah, '08.
okay? So it
Mhm.
was around that time. Because
Mhm.
that was a big thing that you heard a lot about. How has it recovered? How do you feel about like that? Well, how do you feel about that whole thing and moving forward? Like, because I don't even remember the details. What happened to Detroit? It was
I mean, yeah, so, like, basically, like, when the housing market, like, when that bubble imploded,
mhm,
like, Detroit was hit really, really hard. There was I know, like, the running joke, I know even 30 Rock had a joke about it or whatever, was that there was a lot of since, like, the housing market just crashed, it hit so hard, or Detroit so hard, excuse me, a lot of arson was, like, and, like but, like, for the insurance money,
mhm,
so 30 Rock had this joke of like, "Oh, we've put all the fires out in Detroit," or just some dumb or something like that.
yeah.
And
How
so
did
I
that?
think it's
Are you? I can't fully tell. Do you like 30 Rock for doing that or no?
I mean, I think 30 Rock is one of those, shows where it's like a problematic fave, like
Yeah, but you do watch it.
I used to. I think I've
Okay.
outgrown the comedy of Tina Fey, but, like, I like Tracy Morgan, I think he's very funny.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm with you on
Yeah.
that. I think we're in the same place. I'm just curious because obviously you've watched the show if you're making that reference, right?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
not,
yeah, that was a very specific reference, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I
But
think
you were
that
also kind of like, ugh, you know.
Well, I mean, also because the thing is that so when I was living so after grad school, I, like, went back and forth. I was, like, living I lived in Texas, and I lived, I went back to the Bay for a little bit, and, I was meeting people that were like, "Oh, I own a house in Detroit. I bought it for, like, a couple thousand." Stuff like
Yeah,
that narrative, like, people, like, kind of coming in, buying property, fixing it up, and they're like, "It was just so cheap. Like, how do you own property?" And it's like, "No, I don't own property. Like, it's cheap, but it's not that easy." Like, you're coming from
yeah,
a place of privilege. Also, like, I think for, like at least from my perspective, like, I think, like, for communities to, like, thrive, like, you have to be there if you're putting time and care into it. I think your
hmm,
physical presence of also being there really helps communities. So, I mean, I just met a lot of people that are just like, "Oh, I'm moving to Detroit, like, 'cause it's cheap," and it's like, yes, it's
yeah,
affordable, but, I mean, there's still people for you to be able to live here. There are people that used to live here that couldn't afford to, or, they did drastic things. So I just feel like the dehumanizing of the individuals, that is not my jam when it comes to the discussion of Detroit. And also, once again, I'm not from Detroit. I'm from Cleveland, but it's a very similar narrative. Yeah.
when did you make it out to Detroit?
2015 is when, yeah. And then yeah, 2015 on and off for a few years. And I came back, like, officially. I've been back, like, consistently since 2018.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I like Detroit. I think that I like the art communities here are really, really nice. The communities that I belong to, as far as like, yeah, I like the communities that I found in the city.
Yeah. Well, what is the art community? Because I mean, it is an art podcast, so that's always interesting to me.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think it circles back around to my grad school. I mean, I think that it's a really interesting mix of people that are from the city, so like from the Detroit, Metro Detroit, and then people that moved to Detroit. So that there's like a lot of like New Yorkers or some people from LA. And
Mhm.
so it's just a really interesting blend of like, I want to say, oh, what's the word? Like self-taught versus like people that went through like the educational institutional route, art
Mhm.
education institutional route. And so I think it's really so like there is also that segregation. It feels like in spaces of like not Detroiters. I don't want to say that, but I think like self-taught versus like institutionally taught. Like,
Mhm.
and it's like different vibes, it's different jams. But like I think I've had the privilege to like navigate between the different spaces. Is
Yeah.
that answering your question? Is that telling you
No,
giving you
yeah.
any insight?
No. Well, I mean, is that the next question would be? Is there a lot of like alternative runs, like artist run spaces and that kind of
Oh
thing?
yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch. I mean, actually where my studio is at that I'm actually moving out of just because I think I'm looking for a little bit more space now. But
Nice.
it was, yeah, I mean, it's cute. I'm moving in the new year, which is kind of a terrible time to move, especially in winter, but it'll be nice to be in a bigger space. But yeah, there's so many artist run spaces, I think, because there's just like buildings that are available to be occupied.
Mm,
And so like where I was at before, it's called Talking Dolls. It's basically this old like automotive space that they turn into studios. And there's like a wood shop and a print shop. And so like it's great. And there's a gallery that they just put it like renovated up front. And so there's a bunch of like spaces like that. Like my roommate, her studio's in an old firehouse, which is
mhm.
like pretty gnarly and like just like, really funny to think about. But there's a lot of like just like, DIY or artist run spaces in old like warehouses or just old like buildings.
Yeah, that's cool. So, how big of a city is it?
I mean, so like it's actually pretty spread out, but population wise, it's
So it is.
under.
It is. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's like it's like maybe half a million, like maybe 500,000, 600,000. But like population wise, like it actually takes quite a bit to get from like the east side to the west side and still be in the city proper.
Okay.
It's like you have to have a car. It's
And so
public
it's like
transit's garbage.
it's a sprawl, but with like how many downtownish areas are there with like high tall buildings? Is it just one
It's just
central one?
the one. Yeah, it's
Okay,
just the one. Yeah.
okay, but that's interesting. Um, yeah, out here we have this weird thing where there's like downtown Culver City, there's downtown all these
Mhm.
different like there's like they're not all equal. Obviously there's the main downtown which is huge, but if you
Mhm.
stand on the edge you can look at the city and there's different points of interest, right? It's
Interesting.
not just all like like suburban houses and whatnot.
Mhm.
But did you have a topic that you wanted to talk about today, or has that been lost in the back and forth?
No, I mean, I think that I was just gonna, I mean, since doing my hair is gonna surround my hair, but then
Yeah, let's
also,
do it.
okay, cool, cool. I mean,
Because I
so,
don't know anything about hair. It like
okay,
really, other than
sure.
like I don't even maintain my beard that well. So,
I mean, it looks nice. You've got
well,
that's
thank
like the
you.
one thing I wish I could. If I could facial hair, it'd be a beard, like a nice, just nice beard. One day.
Is
But
that a bit, or have you actually like pondered what it would be
no, no,
like?
no. I would love to actually have a like one day. I mean, I feel like genetically it'll happen. Like maybe once
Hmm.
I looking at my mom. Now I'm joking. My mom's cool. She's good. She's good. But
Yeah, yeah.
um one day I would like to have a beard.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Like lunch lady beard or like my beard?
I mean, I think I want the ability to have like a full beard like yours. Not a
Okay.
lunch. I know I'll get a lunch lady beard. I know that. Looking at my mom, which she's lovely, lovely lady, but I know I'll get a lunch lady beard, but I want like a full one. Or I want the
Okay.
ability to grow a full one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to donate. It would take me like maybe a week to donate
Okay.
enough for a wig.
Okay.
Like or I'm sure there's
Like
a
a
name for
face
that.
wig?
Yeah, or
Hmm.
maybe it's just a fake beard made out of real hair. But
You know, probably.
we can totally make this happen if it's like an actual fantasy. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
I practically grow this shit,
I
like,
mean, so that has to be an industry. If there's an industry, like once it like so also Detroit, it's like known for like they have the hair or they had the hair show along with cars. It's really known for its hair shows,
okay,
like when it comes to like wigs and weaves and all that. And
all
so I
right,
feel like there has to be some sort of industry for like beards as well. Like,
okay.
do you ever watch Instagram and just watch videos of people that like fill in their hairlines?
No, but
Have you?
there's definitely like insane beard competitions. I've seen like things
Yeah.
that are like just unreasonable, like
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
Detroit also, yeah. I mean,
So
whenever the
that
world
so
goes
like that with
back,
weave?
yeah, yeah, more or less. But
Okay.
I feel like also, could there be like a beard weave? Are we talking about the same thing? Are we on the same page here?
No, I just think
No.
that it's
Okay.
like dudes that it's not extensions, it's just dudes that grow crazy beards that like
Okay.
make them in insane shapes. But I think that like the aesthetic might be similar, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
thin, flat things that look like they could be plastic, kind of.
Yeah. I
Like
mean, that's a
I've
look.
seen, I mean, I'm sure if we had time to Google it, you would just laugh at some of the shit that people come up with because the other thing is that it's also kind of gross a lot of the time, which I don't
Mhm.
think it's going to be with the weave, because it's like a lot of like beard oil and like, pomade and shit like that, and
Oh,
sometimes
but
that's a little intense for
yeah,
me.
how do you not like, is it like, hopefully it's not toxic. Like, is it, if you accidentally swallow it, will you be okay? So that's, I do have questions now. Huh. Okay. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
let's get into the hair.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so okay, well, what, this is perfect timing because it's in the front of my head. Yeah, I mean, so hair. This is what's happening. I am two-strand twisting my hair right now,
Okay.
which, so in the Midwest, it's getting cold, and so this style is done as a way to basically protect my hair,
Okay.
because the fact, so my hair, it's coily or it's curly, and it gets
Uh-huh.
really dry, or it can get really dry in this seasons, and so I'm doing this to basically help it retain moisture and to help it stay protected.
And do you
That
treat it
is
at once it's in the braid?
No, I mean, I pretty much just let it do its thing, and so maybe it'll stay like this for 2 weeks, or depending how well I do it, which right now I'm doing it mediocrely. I'm putting in, I'm not gonna plug them. I'm not gonna plug the products I'm putting in my hairs, but I'm
Thank
putting in
you.
some products that are moisturized, and then I'm like kind of using a gelish thing. Um, but also, oh my gosh, like the systems or like the capitalistic systems that are just like from hair products, which is
Mhm.
like so wild. Specifically like, so sorry, this is a lot, but I really enjoy hair and shopping for hair products just because even in the aisles, like how it's like it's segregated. And I kind of, this is gonna be a really bad soundbite, but I really appreciate the segregation of like knowing where I can go directly to get the product that I need. It's just,
Yeah.
it's convenient. But anyway, so yeah, I put in the product and then it's just a twisting and a twisting. It's just kind of going round and round in circles until I get to the very end. And that's a two-strand twist in a really roundabout way of describing it.
So is there like, do you like put anything at the end? Is it a rubber band or you just twist it and it holds?
I just twist it and it holds. I
Okay.
think my hair is kind of ratty enough where it's just gonna hold because of the split ends. But even like there's a little bit of gel that I put on beforehand, and so that helps it stay. But that's about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
Um,
then so like that's your winter protective measure.
yeah,
And
it's like one of them. Yeah.
okay. Is this going to be, are you going to hold it like this for the rest of the winter, or do you have other techniques that you're going to go
Um,
into, or like as the season changes, is there like, is there more could they not to be too dumb, but could it get moldy if you leave it in the like in a humid season, or you get what I'm
um,
saying? Like not,
yeah,
I
yeah. No,
don't
I
think it's
got
not going to
you.
get moldy, but like can you damage it from over moisturizing it, like, or having it in a season that it wouldn't? No.
No, you can't damage it. At least not for me. I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone's hair, but I mean, there's a possibility. But for
Yeah.
me, for what
For the
happens,
listener, I
mine.
am bald, okay?
Yeah, oh, that's right, because there's a visual. If you're not seeing the visual of it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm so
Yes.
perplexed.
No, no, I mean, it's real. That's real. I mean,
Yeah,
also, I think it's funny when it's just like, I learned how to do my hair at a young age because, people are busy and it can take
yeah.
a lot of time to do hair. So if I didn't want to look wild, I had to learn how to do it myself. So it's understandable if you've never done your own.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I used to, when I was a kid, I definitely used to do the once I was in college, I went to like the Wendy's, that I will plug them because that was like what I ate almost every day
mhm.
in high school. I don't eat that shit too much anymore. But yeah, like I went back to the one that we went to for lunch in high school, as I like, and I saw the next crop of kids there
Mhm.
from my old high school, and it was just fascinating how much effort went into like appearance.
Oh,
Then like once you get to
yeah.
college, I felt like it was almost uncool to be that like worried about it. You had to kind of have like a shaggy look, but like popped collars. Like, dude, I'm like, you're in class. You're
That's
not at a
funny.
club.
That's
Yeah.
really funny.
But I used to do the same thing too. So I had like a very like close crop haircut with like the front like just like pushed up. You know, it
Mhm,
was a standard hair. It was like a Caesar with like a little zhuzh at the with gel. But the amount of
mhm.
gel that it takes to do that shit, like, you know, I'm just trying to remember hair like. And then I had a hair that was long for a very long time.
Oh, what'd you do with it? Just to kinda keep it down, or was it like a bob?
No, it was just straight. It was like the grunge look that was popular at the time, where we had
Mhm,
the shaved under here, and then
mhm.
the hair like that was long that was on top.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually kind of I was mine's growing out, but with the undercut, I had that. It is growing out now.
Oh, it's an
Um,
undercut. That's what it's called. Yeah.
yeah.
And when it became like cool to just do one side and then shave the other side, I became very jealous because I was like, why didn't that shit exist? Asymmetrical haircuts. I was like,
Oh.
damn, the 90s were weak.
I mean, it came back around because that was this side was shaved, and then in grad school, it was finally long enough where, like, it just, like it was long enough again, that way yeah, I've had both sides shaved. The undercut, I used to have a mullet at one point, not, like,
Nice.
by choice, it just kinda
Oh, okay.
happened.
There's some
Or I mean
stylish mullets. That shit was popular in Miami for
oh,
a while. But go
mine
ahead,
was
sorry.
not stylish. Oh, no, I was just gonna say mine was not stylish, it was just a misunderstanding slash the salon lady just not realizing what she had done. But that's really funny. So I had a mullet when I was in high school, oh 08 or whatnot. I don't know. So basically mid thousands, early thousands. Sorry, mid thousands. Um,
Mhm.
and then I actually went to Chile. I lived in Chile for a summer in 2010, and that was also very in 2011. Excuse me, it was also a very common hairstyle in
The
Chile.
mullet?
A lot of mullets.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
the mullet hawk is like also a thing.
Yeah. Styles.
Like
Hair.
when I say stylish mullets, I'm talking about like ones that have like designs shaved into them, you know,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
it's a workable haircut.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's also definitely the less impressive ones that are like, I mean, I guess like I kind of had one. How long
Mhm.
does at one point when I was like a kid, how long does your back hair have to be before it becomes one, right? Like,
Oh, right? I mean,
when
that's
is a
always the
mullet a mullet?
question.
So were you ever into weaves or not? Is that
No, I never really I mean, I think because really they cost money, like a good one is like
yeah.
expensive. And so I think just as far as like my parents and then buying me one or not one, buying it for me, that wasn't gonna happen. So you typically it was just like whatever my mom could do for me or whatever I could do for myself. So no, I've never worn a weave.
Okay.
One day, I don't know, like, but this works for me. But I've
Oh
seen some
yeah,
really
I
good
was just
ones.
because you brought it up earlier, I was wondering.
Yeah.
But
No, no.
yeah, and it's interesting that it's not like a choice. It's more of like that's like fancy.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so I feel like, whenever I see children now or teens now, I'm just like, "Who is buying that for you?" Or
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, also, they have layaway plans for weaves, like, or depending, like,
Wow.
how, like, extravagant or how, like how much of a human hair what kind of human hair you want to have, like, you can put it on layaway, which is, like,
Wait, when you say
wild to
what
me.
kind of human
Yeah, or sorry, so, like, if you want, like,
like back
Malaysian or,
hair
like,
and like toe
Peruvian.
hair?
No, no. Although that's amazing, I really do love that concept, and I think that someone should come
I
up with
that's
that.
what I mostly have.
I mean, you should try you could try to sell it and see what you can get for it. You never
Ah,
know.
man. I'm sure there's some bald guys that would love my like, my leg hair on the top of their head.
I mean, sure, yeah.
I think I just made
I'll
a decision that Captain Picard was really cool. You know, if we're talking about hair, like, yeah, there were definitely icons that were like, and then it didn't hurt to have like Jason Statham and people like that, like make it cool,
uh-huh,
you
wait.
know.
Who's Jason State? I know that name, I don't know who that is.
He's the hot British guy from Fast and the Furious.
Got it, got it,
The
got it.
Hobbs from, or I don't know which one's Hobbs, but they made the spin-off with him and The Rock.
I remember that because the
Yeah.
one guy was very mad. Tyrese was very mad. I remember that.
Wait, who was very mad? Oh,
Tyrese
Tyrese was mad.
also, yeah.
I thought I had only heard Vin Diesel was upset.
Oh, Tyrese as well. He like slid into The Rock's DMs and was just like, "You don't break up the family. Paul Walker did not want this." It was like a whole
Paul Walker did.
like,
Wow.
yeah, because I guess he talks to Paul Walker's ghost sometimes, and he let it be known not what he
Is
wanted.
that wow?
I'm also
That's
joking.
intense.
I'm joking when I say that, but
No, I know,
yeah.
but that sounds so plausible.
I mean, you know, seances.
You
I'm
have a dry
sure.
delivery that I don't know you well enough to fully appreciate, but I do grasp it. I'm sorry
Oh,
if I'm not
okay.
laughing.
No, no, there's no worries. No, I am so
Yeah,
so I've had many interactions where I'll be like I'll say something and it'll be like weeks or months later and then someone will be like, "Oh wait, but I thought." And I was like, "Yo, no, that was a joke. Like
oh yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
wasn't serious." Actually at the end of grad school after I graduated, I had someone be like, "Were you performing the past 2 years?" Like if I had a persona, and I was like, "I mean, I guess you'll never know. Maybe to survive this weird ass place." But yeah, no, so I feel like I have to like I have to clarify sometimes for but
No,
I'm
no,
glad.
I'm
I'm
glad you
glad.
did. I'm glad you did. But what's it called? Yeah, totally. I'm a lot like it takes it takes a lot to shake me, but in terms of
Nice.
doing the show, I am very happy to talk to all different types of people because it works, and I do like cantankerous, sort of people that aren't necessarily like, "Hey, let's always be like positive and like let's not have a little fun," you know.
Yeah,
With
I mean,
like, there's a I think that there's like maybe a cynicism in the way that you joke that I don't find off-putting. I just wanted to
oh.
clarify that I didn't get
No, no, I'm
that
glad.
I
I'm
wasn't.
I'm
Yeah, yeah.
glad
But
to hear that.
okay, so like so you have one thing here on one side of your head, which is
Yes.
the unprocessed hair.
Yeah,
Is that
that's the
already sort
separated.
of is it already sort of separated?
I'm kind of so normally I would have like this like a rat tail like a rat tail comb or whatever to like make a straight part in it, but I am just kind of going with it. It's not straight, but it's all right.
Okay.
So no, not yet exactly, but since I'm coming to the end, it's a lot smaller, so I think it's easier to separate. But
Okay. Okay.
normally it's just like I would need like a comb to like make straight parts.
You've like gone through that pretty quick though. I mean, not
Yeah.
that it's like it doesn't sound like a crazy difficult process, but it's so casual.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, or I mean, so back to like how I relate hair and whatnot. But just like the process of it, like once again, like it's cathartic. It also takes patience. 'Cause
Yeah.
I actually, I don't remember when I started today. Like I've been doing it for a bit, but like I'll take a break. But it's just like a nice process. It's also like
Mhm.
nostalgic in a sense of like, yeah, like just either thinking about like when I've had someone do my hair or when I've had someone else do my hair, it's like it's funny moments like that.
Yeah. That's I think that like do you, who for me that was one of the difficult things of like having hair was I'm so glad I don't have to sit in a chair and talk to somebody and make small talk.
Uh-huh.
But I guess like if it takes long enough, maybe you develop a bond with that person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, or
But
even so I think that's super cute. And I think also there's like there's imagery. I forget who the artist is. It's like a painting where you'll see like the black figure of like some sort of matriarch or some sort of maternal figure, and then in between her legs is like a younger person, and so it's this idea about like basically, yeah, there's like this bond that happens. And so really like I'll actually let not just doing my hair, but I've let a lot of people cut my hair.
mhm.
um some most times they're sober. There's been a few times where I found out that they're not sober. And then the next, when I look in the mirror, I can see I'm like, oh, you were a little hungover when you cut my hair. But I mean, yeah, so I think that there is a really nice moment of intimacy um, between, like, like doing someone's hair, letting someone do my hair. I do like those moments.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. It's just it's also a well, my favorite part was always getting the head washed. Like if I
Mhm.
could just have someone massage my head like regularly, I think I would be a
Mhm.
much more relaxed person. So
Yeah.
I can see like having someone to care for it, like it's also a different to like get a haircut or have someone like treat it,
Mhm.
where like they're actually like, because it looks like what you're doing is a lot more detailed than anything that's ever been done to my hair.
Mhm.
Even when I had it, like mine was just straight, and so mine was straight and it fell out. So like it was a different relationship that I had with it,
Mhm.
But in terms of like the beard, I definitely have an intense relationship with it, because
Nice.
it's like it's there. So I can understand how that becomes like a ritual process, because part of the things that it's going to be obvious as I put out more episodes is that you're going to be able to see when I can when make the time to like cut this shit, and when
Uh-huh.
I fuck, dude, why can't I get this thing to stay on?
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, it's for some reason it's not charging. There might be something wrong with my cable. Anyway, I'll just cut that out. Like, and then there's also this lag that I don't understand, and apparently it has to do with my internet connection.
Oh, internet, it's the worst.
Yeah, but I gotta put the show out, so you just fucking do
Sure.
it. Anyway, thank you for being on.
Yeah,
Sorry
no,
for
no
it being
worries.
shoddy.
No
I didn't have this
worries.
problem last time with the camera, but anyway, I am enjoying hanging out with you while you do your hair.
Ditto,
Uh,
equally.
so yeah, like what else can you tell me about hair? Like what obviously like there's cultural elements to it, right? Like
Mhm.
parents taking care of each other, and like if you are Latino, you'll probably have the same kind of hair as your parent. If you're, like there's like a way to treat, obviously your hair is very specific. Like
Mhm.
how curly is it? Is it would it
It's I mean, so it's kind of is it visible? I don't know if it is or not, but
yeah.
it's kinda
So
like
it's
that. It's got some waves or some
okay.
coils to it.
And that's the kind of hair your mom had too, or did you guys have different,
Um,
like texture wise?
I think different. I think hers is a little bit more tighter. But I
Okay.
mean, for the most part, like, yeah, hair. Yeah. I think that
Yeah.
she was just well versed in being able to do like my hair, my sister's hair, which also kind of similar, but not exactly similar.
But is it you were mentioning that like you kind of did what you could with what you had because it was like it would get unruly, right? Like
Yeah, yeah. Or it's like it's easier to like maintain it. Like when it's yeah, it makes it easier to maintain or if not, the other option was just to shave it off, which I also did do at one point, but
okay.
that was for a different that was just more or less for fun. I'm wondering what I'd look like with no hair, which I look pretty good with a shaved head.
Yeah.
I actually really liked it.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, just maintenance
Like
more or less.
if you don't maintain it, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, like it'll get matted. I mean, really, like dreadlocks are kind of so no, not that's not true. Locks are not. I mean, so it is possible, like if you don't comb, like I could, like Lil Wayne's hair. Have you seen Lil Wayne recently?
No.
Oh my God, he has a really great picture of Donald Trump.
I'll
Sorry.
look it up.
Oh my gosh, Lil Wayne looks like a 5 year, not 5 year old, looks like a fifth grader. But
Okay.
basically, like his dreadlocks, he used to have multiples. He literally has like four now, and it's just like he didn't maintain it. And that's not to like shame him. I mean, it kind of is. It kind of is to shame him because I don't know what's wrong with that man.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so basically, hair can get matted, it can get damaged if it's not like managed or maintained.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what my mom taught my sister because she also had things with her hair where it was
Hmm.
like if it gets too humid, it just goes insane,
Yeah, the
like
frizz.
yeah, and she just has like insane frizz and how to treat that. I don't know. I think of things that I'm the least expert on.
No, no, that's no worries.
No, in terms of like having profound things to say, but then I also don't want to ask weird questions, like because obviously like there's like a history with like hair in certain communities, so I don't
Mhm.
really know. Like, I feel like it's a delicate topic. If you want to get into some of that and maybe explain some of that to me, I'm definitely interested in learning. But I don't want to ask like a stupid, like offensive question just because I don't know how to ask it.
Yeah, no, I mean, so there's I mean, also, I think that's maybe the not the beauty, but maybe one of the things that I'm super interested in is this notion of, like, how do we ask about things that we don't know?
Hmm.
Like, I have a whole it's been, like, 5 years, like, a body of work that I'm working on for, like, 5 years. It's kinda surrounded on inquiry and questions and how do you ask something with, like, cultural care, so, like, that's what I'm super intrigued in.
Okay.
But I can
Yeah,
touch
if you
on
have pointers for that, that'd be great. Yeah.
I mean, gee whiz, 5 years, what have I learned from that project? Um,
Because
or I think I mean, maybe
on the
even
show,
more
I'm gonna need that skill for sure.
no, that's real. I mean, I think, like, geez, what have I learned anything? I've learned something. I would have to go back and look at my notes. I take copious notes after every performance because I hate performance, but that's what
Uh-huh.
I do.
So that's
Um,
the main thrust of your practice?
yeah, currently, although not with COVID, but a lot of it has been surrounded around performance and but also like performance with like not taking yourself super seriously. Like I have a piece where it's like it's I make myself and the audience, we make a song about diarrhea more or less.
Okay.
And it's like it's actually really it's a really good song. I really am proud of it. I should record it one day. Um but I mean, I think the whole I think what I've learned is just go for it.
Okay.
I think if it's phrased, I think it's premise if they give it the premise of I'm asking because I'm genuinely curious, and
Yeah,
once I've
yeah.
learned this, I will not like it's like once I learn it, well not, now I know. Thinking about the words of BIG. Nope, wrong words,
If you
never
don't
mind.
know, now you know.
Yeah.
Well, I
Actually,
mean,
no, that works. That totally works. Okay. Yeah, his
so
words.
so I guess basically the question is like there seems to be also a cultural relevance to the topic of hair, right?
Hmm.
And I don't necessarily want to ask leading questions, but you brought it up, and so I guess I'm asking, do you want to talk about that, or would you prefer to talk about like just hairstyles and stuff like that? Like, what direction do you want to take hair? Because like I said, I am non-expert. I know like what my sister's experience with it is, and it's a
Hmm.
very specific one. It's different, but there's also like a cultural history in terms of like black women's hair not being necessarily uh treated with like the same level of value or dignity
Hmm.
as like white people's hair. So is that something that interests you in terms of talking about hair? Is that something that comes up in term because obviously there is a performance happening right now, right?
Hmm.
Like as a performance artist, and I'm totally for it, so like is that something that is of interest to you, or is that something that is completely something that like as an outside observer I am projecting onto this interaction?
No, I mean, it's definitely something that, I have of interest. I mean, I
Hmm.
think that at least, like, so thinking about things that I'm interested in, something I've kind of like recently was like looking into is just this notion of like, I mean, like, yeah, as you said, hair is super coded, especially like, black women's hair, or anyone really that's like curly hair or frizzy or wavy or coily, whatever you want to call it, any of those words. Like it's coded and it's very like there's connotations come with it. I mean, like laws have been made around it,
Like
just
which
due
ones?
to um I don't remember, I think it's called the crown something or other law or whatever, but basically kind of it's basically a law saying, hey, you can't discriminate against people that have natural hair or dreadlocks. And it was specifically made for black people, but particularly black women who were being discriminated against in like like the professional world, what in office spaces and business worlds, but also at school. There were
Mhm.
many, many cases of like little children being sent home because their hair was distracting or inappropriate, and it's like
Oh, really?
their hair's in a ponytail. Like, what's
Yeah.
distracting about her? Like, about a child's like afro, or I mean, oh, gee whiz, I don't have the states. Like, I can't remember what states exactly, but
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, like there have been like a lot of children that have been sent home, like, because their dreadlocks, or excuse me, their locks were unruly, or like,
Still
which is really
to
just,
this day that's happening?
um, I mean,
Or
the
like,
crown law, I mean, very, very recently, the crown law was just passed. What, like, was it last year or the previous year? It's a very, very recent law that was passed, but that's still not stopping people from discriminating against, Black people, people of color for their hair.
mhm.
Um, I want to say it was a 20, it was either 2018 or 2019. It was very, very recent that this was passed.
Well, when you said 20, that was a lot more recent than I thought was acceptable.
Well, you would think, you would really think, but here we are.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess we can still keep humans in cages. I guess we can still be shitty about hair. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, which is like wild. I think maybe something also that I'm like highly intrigued by, but then also I'm really curious about the notions of slavery and how everything kind of goes back to it.
Okay.
um, I love bringing up slavery. It's like one of my favorite things to do when I introduce myself to someone is talking about slavery.
I
Um,
think it's I could understand why that would be an interesting like way to meet someone for you.
um, Really quick short story. When I was interviewing for grad school, so my name's Chelsea Flowers, and
Mhm.
people, I don't know, I've gotten like, oh, like what a cute name. Is that your real name? Is that a family name? And it's like, yeah, and they'll ask where it comes from, and I'll say from slavery. Like my because the house, not the house, the field slave worked with flowers. Like that's where it came from.
Oh,
So yeah,
really?
that's how I like to introduce myself to
Yeah.
people when they ask about my name. Um, Oh, sorry, but I was just gonna say really quickly, kind of one other thing, slavery, whatnot. I think when it comes to hair and just things I'm super intrigued with that I've recently been like reading up on is also like these styles, like this is a two-strand twist or like braids
Mhm.
or whatever. This was also done as a way of protection, but also as a way to like provide food for children. So like parents, particularly mothers, would actually like, sew rice, or not, excuse me, they would braid rice into their children's hair.
Mhm.
It was this notion of like before they're being shipped off to um, a new land, to the Americas. I'm saying that really terribly. Before they're basically being enslaved, their parents would braid rice into their hair, so that way when they got to the Americas, they'd have something to eat. Which
Okay.
I think that's like really interesting in and
Uh-huh.
of itself. Like just thinking about like how like now like, this is stylish, but before it's also seen as like a utilitarian function as well. So
Oh, and also what stands out there is that like it's exploiting an ignorance of like how the hair works, right? Like
mhm,
to the slave masters, right? Like
mhm,
like you guys understand, you know, what you're putting what your hair can do, and maybe like that's not necessarily something that they would check, right?
mhm, yeah, yeah. And something that sorry, I just in check, I'm just imagining someone rifling through your hair, which
Yeah,
is
no,
like
that's exactly what
also
I was
not a cool
picturing.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't do that today. Not at
No,
all.
yeah, well, I've had people rub my fucking head. And I
Me
don't like
too.
either. Like they're
Listen,
like, "Oh, hey," and I'm like, what are you doing there,
not a
bro? That's like a
genie.
power move."
Yeah. When I shaved my head, that was also a very common occurrence. They're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
it's so shiny." It's like, "Thanks,
yeah,
bitch, back up."
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what are
yeah.
we doing here? But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I mean, so I think that also, as you're saying that like personal space or just autonomy of like not autonomy, yeah, personal space when I'm lacking like this, like I can't think of like the actual words for what I want to say, but how that's
I think
also like
autonomy may not be the right word, but we get where you're what you're implying there. Like, or I mean, I don't think it's that wrong of a word. It may not be the one you're looking for, um, but it's interesting. Yeah, because like I never want to make someone talk necessarily about their politics too
mhm,
much. So like, but I'm happy to like I'm glad that you're sharing this aspect of it because it's like it's one of those things where it's like so much inherent in like let's present this as a performance, right? Even though it is an
mhm,
interaction, right? It's this performative interaction. I do feel like I'm getting you to know you, right? Like I don't feel like this is inauthentic, but it is a performance that you are portraying for me. And in terms of, if like, it's almost like it naturally comes up, right? Because of all the history.
Hmm.
And I feel like it would be incomplete to not ask about it.
Hmm.
So like, I just felt weird being like, hey, let's talk about hairstyles.
Sure,
But so,
sure.
but I'm totally fascinated by this. Um, so like, what, like, is that personal invasion of space? Like, how often is that? Because obviously, I made the joke that some people rub my head, but it, like,
Hmm.
if it's a cliche, then it happens more than I experience that, right? So like,
Hmm.
daily basis, like weekly basis. I mean, not to like quantify it necessarily, but you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot more than I prefer. I was not hugged as a child, so like physical touch is just like, what's happening here?
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, I think it depends on the spaces that I'm in. But it was pretty frequently. Oh, I think it also depends on my age. As a child, pretty frequently, like by other children, and then by some adults, of just like, oh, like a pat on the head, but like also like just trying to feel what's going around in my head.
Mhm.
TSA is the worst.
Oh,
They're like
okay.
full of
I can
shit.
relate with
Like,
you there.
I mean, it's like, I'm so sorry that you're not happy at your job, but like you like harassing me or hitting my head is not going to make you feel any better. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty frequent. But I think I also kind of, the whole like, is she performing? So that whole like persona of just being like a dick. I think that um when I was like in undergrad and um grad school, that's kind of like steered away people asking to touch. I
Mhm.
actually did a performance where I have this hair. It's like weave that I collected over maybe a year or 2 years, and I braided it together and I made it to this very, very long jump rope. And so the name of the performance is "This is the only time you can play with my hair, only time you can touch my hair." And so it
Mhm.
was just like I had double dutched and I just jump roped and I invited people to come and jump rope with me. It was like it would play or touch my hair or whatnot.
Mhm.
But anyways, so yeah.
No, but I'm glad. I mean, I appreciate you contextualizing how it presents itself in your work, because usually we do the topics so that we don't have to necessarily talk about visual art, which can be a little bit like tricky,
Mhm.
and not everybody is as well versed in it as you are apparently are. But yeah, it's interesting to hear how it's showing up in your practice, because that is like, if you're making work about it, it's definitely something that is personal and affecting you, right? Like, I think that answers the question even better. Like, if you're like, this is how much I'm thinking about it, it happens so much, right? Like, that I'm actually manifesting it into something
Mhm.
that makes me feel like I am maybe taking a little bit more control over the situation, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, like, so is the where is the experience, like, okay, because all right, these are some of the stereotypes that I have, and I always try to break them, like, even when I'm talking about Houston. But I would imagine, like, my idea is that Detroit is a very black city, and
Yeah.
so it is
Oh
so
my god,
these are.
yeah, it's 80. Oh, I mean, it used to be a lot higher, but there's white flight, but the whites are, that sounds terrible. But now people are coming, white people, no, white people are coming back to the city. It used to be 83% black, and now it's less than that. But yeah,
Okay.
it's a very black city. Yeah.
But so, I mean, I don't imagine it's a lot of black people doing this, right? There's like a cultural sensitivity there. So
Yeah.
is this when you were younger that it was happening a lot more, or oh no, you did a hand thing. So does that mean that black people also like
I
don't have
mean,
boundaries?
not to speak for everyone. I mean, depends on if it's your family or not. I mean, I think it depends. I mean, 'cause I mean, I get the whole like, oh, that's so cute, and like kind of like the grabbing and touching, and it's like I get that it wasn't meant to be malicious, but you don't know me, I don't know you, don't
Yeah,
judge
yeah,
me. No, but I mean, no, it's not typically black people, I think, because they understand it, like, hey,
Yeah, yeah. It's a sensitive topic. Yeah,
yeah. Also, like, once again, we don't
yeah,
know each other. Back the fuck up.
yeah. Um, that's interesting. What else? What else do you think about hair? Like, let's go a little bit deeper on that.
Hmm.
What other things would I not know to ask
About hair. Oh man.
that are important to you? Because obviously it's a topic you picked. I just feel like maybe to some degree I'm not necessarily well equipped enough to ask you educated questions that are going to get the information that you want to portray. So like, lay it on me.
Mm, Um, uh, well, now I'm blanking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
No,
add
no,
pressure.
no, no. There's no worries. I mean, I think that like, um, I mean, I guess so. So yeah. So there's like different styles. There's different like types, and when I say types, like different ways in which like hair can be curly. I mean, I think there's also just like such like a really interesting nuances within I mean, and I keep on saying like curly or coily, but I mean really like, people with black hair or with tighter coils of hair, like the
Mhm.
tighter spirals or whatnot. But I think that but ugh, there's a lot, and I'm trying
No, I
to.
know. I was like, I'm dumb. Tell me everything you know.
Yeah, no, no. Yeah, I get that. I think my brain's trying to figure out what information do I
Where
want to
to start?
portray and
Yeah.
how do I say it not sounding like a dummy. Um,
Oh, yeah. I take. I've already lowered the bar, so by being like, I'm dumb. Please explain it to me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, there's no bar. It's the bar. Who knows? It's
No,
COVID.
no,
There
no.
are no bars.
That's just a device that I use on the show.
Yeah,
And
yeah. No, no,
like I'm the dumb one when
no, no.
it comes
Gotcha,
to the
gotcha,
topic. It's a
gotcha,
comfortable
gotcha.
place to be.
Really? Yeah, I believe that. um, but to answer your question, I mean, so delving into like one of the or a nuance that is like weird, at least weird for me, is like I don't want to say anti there there's oh my gosh, words. Sorry. I know words. I can speak words.
I've
Um
seen you do it.
yeah, we've been doing it for almost an hour now.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, okay, sorry. Here we go. Here, I'm going to say it. So, there are different basically there's different types, there's different coils, there's different like spirals of hair, and like some are considered to be more like desirable than others. That's the
Okay.
words that I'm trying to say. So like more like
So
closer to
there's
like
like a
curly.
hierarchy of
Yeah.
desirability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like kind of looser, like more like curly, like wavy hair. Like that's like considered like, like ascertainable, or that's like the jam. Whereas like I'll say maybe my hair, then also hair that's a little bit more like tighter wound is like, and so it's that's considered bad hair. So it's good hair versus bad hair. And I feel like Spike Lee's Don't Tell Me the Name of the Movie. There's a song. It's called "Good or Bad Hair" in that movie. School Days. Have you seen
School days.
School
Oh,
Days?
okay.
Spike Lee.
No, I
Um,
haven't. I haven't. I'm a little behind on my Spike Lee anthology, but
oh,
yeah.
I don't think you need to have one. I mean, honestly, my favorite is watching him stomp around at New York Nets game, or
Yeah.
sorry, Knicks games.
I've
Him at the
seen that
Knicks
one,
games
and it's
are
brilliant.
amazing. Yeah, yeah. Like that could just be his
The
TikTok
way
or his
his
YouTube
tiny ass
channel,
yells at giants, it's
right?
amazing.
Right. I think if you know that, you're good. Anything else, not that
Oh,
important.
I do feel like I should watch Do the Right Thing,
Wait, have
and
you not seen that one?
no, no, no. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. Like, there's
Okay, yeah.
definitely things that there's definitely gaps that I know that are like need to be filled.
Okay, just that one. Just that one,
Is
and
that
everything
one
else.
not
Yeah.
Girl Six?
No, no, no. Who
Not
knows?
even the
No.
TV show that just came out on Netflix?
Oh, not oh god, so bad. It's so bad where it's apparent
Wait,
that a
how do you
man
feel about
wrote
Sean
that.
Singleton?
Wait, I don't know what that is or who that
John
is.
Singleton, Boys in the
Oh,
Hood?
John. Oh, sorry. I heard Sean. Sorry.
It came out a little bit like that,
Yeah.
but I
Oh
meant
man.
John.
I guess R.I.P. Not. I guess yes. R.I.P. Rest in
Oh wait, he
power.
died?
Yeah, he passed
Oh,
away.
that's right.
I don't know what time is, but he passed away fairly recently.
Okay. Well, he
Yeah.
started doing like big movies, like he did Fast and the Furious 2, which I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
But what's it called? Yeah, he's another one of those 90s like um Well, I think Singleton was a little bit different. Higher Learning was the one that was weird. Did you watch that
Mhm.
one?
I saw it as a child. I don't remember it exactly. I remember
I'm
the
just
ending of a
thinking about
mass
Michael
shooting.
Rappaport becoming a Nazi, a neo-Nazi, and I'm like,
I mean, yeah, that was Michael Rappaport. I didn't
yeah,
remember that. Wow.
Remy, I think was his name. Anyway,
Okay.
so like we just lost all millennials by like remembering
I
John
mean,
Singleton and Spike Lee. But yeah, what's it called? I just remember him being like a very like aggressive like Hollywood black voice, which was interesting to have like growing up
mhm, yeah.
and contextualizing it. But I do think that and one of my favorite parts in the Higher Learning was when the cops pull up to what's his name, Ice Cube, and they're like, "Can we see your ID?" And he goes, "Let us see your ID."
Uh-huh. Yeah. And yeah, I didn't even realize that John Singleton made that film.
But
So good.
he made Fast and the Furious 2, which is more important to me.
Okay. I can agree to disagree. I guess we all have
Wait,
our
do you
different
like Higher
tastes and
Learning?
prepreferences. I was a fan. I also was a fan of Boys in the Hood.
I didn't watch all of Boys in the Hood. I watched
I mean, it's long.
yeah, but I remember it what Cuba Gooding was in it, right?
Yeah, and so was Morris Chestnut for a minute.
Morris Chestnut.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, man.
Anyway, so Hair, I guess we should start wrapping up after
Yeah.
going on a fun Spike Lee tangent.
I mean, how can you not? But bringing it back to that, yeah,
Yeah.
good or bad hair. It's that song stuck in my head now. It's very catchy. If you don't watch Do the Right Thing, at least listen to like the soundtrack. It's
Okay.
very snappy. It's very catchy. It's like if West Side Story were not in like brown face, like
Okay. So not problematic.
yeah. I mean, or less problematic.
Oh, okay. Spike Lee
Not
still
problematic.
manages to to make some problematic.
I mean, oh, like some misogyny kind of slips in here and there,
Yeah.
like she's got to have it so bad.
Oh,
It's like
really?
what? It's just like what cis hetero man wrote this garbage? At least from my
Yeah.
perspective,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not a fan. Not a fan. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
but this is where we're at. Um,
I
yeah,
think that's the one that they made a TV show of. Like
yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
on
yeah. Not
Netflix.
Girl
Yeah,
6. Girl
yeah,
6 man, that was the phone sex one, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's got a long and story like there's some random ones in there too.
There are.
I feel like maybe I was a little hard on John Singleton. Like they both have like those commercial ones that are just like, what was this?
I mean, something's got to pay the bills. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, John, what's it called? Boys in the Hood was pretty good up until what I saw. But so yeah, so Good Hair, Bad Hair. What like wasn't there a movie also called Good Hair that what's
Yeah,
his
Chris
name?
Rock.
Chris
Yeah.
Rock was in. So it's
Uh-huh.
definitely a topic, right? Like and
Yeah.
that's basically the premise. Like what is good hair is okay.
Yeah,
And do you ever
which
sleep like in Friday? Like, did you ever watch the movie Friday? Ice Cube's
yeah.
one?
Yeah, which
Where she sleeps,
part?
like, with her head
Oh.
so it doesn't touch the pillow?
I mean, that's a real thing. I mean, because so the
Is
thing
that
is,
for real?
yeah, that's real because you don't want to fuck it up. Like you don't want to mess like if you just spend hours like getting your hair done, or also if you're in so much discomfort that you can't sleep. I've definitely had my hair braided where it's so tight where it's like just give me the ibuprofen, give me the Vicodin. My head is like on fire, just
Really?
yeah. So that's real. Maybe I mean I'm quite sure Friday definitely exaggerated it a bit because like it's a comedy, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's real.
That's funny.
Yeah, you want it to
Yeah.
last.
I guess I can see that though. I don't know. Like appearance is very important.
Yeah,
So
I
cool.
mean,
Well, it
and COVID.
I hope I think we're gonna end on that profound thought that appearance is very important.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was really great talking to you.
equally.
Okay, I'm glad to hear you say that because yeah, I can't tell.
Yeah. No, 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 no. It was good. I
No, no,
mean, I
no.
lost words for a minute, but it was good.
All right, cool. It's been a pleasure. I definitely want to have you back on. I need guests always. So, well, what's it called? I'll probably talk to you sometime that I'm not coming out of work and a little
Sure,
tired,
sure.
and you'll have me a little bit sharper. But it was great talking to you. Is there anything that you'd like to promote?
Um, Stay in school, don't do drugs.
What's your Instagram?
Oh,
Your
sorry, things like that
website?
nature. Okay. My Instagram
We'll cut that
is
into a
just,
PSA though.
I mean,
Wait, you don't do drugs?
oh, 3 years sober. I mean, 3 years sober-ish. 3 years sober-ish. There we go. That's what I'll say.
I'm
Um,
sure. I'm sure
um,
your sponsor loves that.
Euphoria Sundays at I don't know. Okay, sorry. My Insta, although Euphoria is so good, but my Insta is my name Chelsea Chelsia, another A, F, and the number one. That
And the number
is
one.
yes.
Okay.
That's an Insta that I have, and
And you have
I
a
don't.
website? Do you
Oh,
have
I
like
do.
documented performances?
Oh, I do. I do. I have a Vimeo. We can see that diarrhea
Okay.
performance
All
on
right.
my Vimeo or on my website. It's just my name, chelseaflowers.com. Very,
Okay.
yeah,
I do think I remember going to that at one point.
my
But
Vimeo.
anyway, it was great talking to you. Now I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Hey,
And
yes, good night.
no, I'm kidding. I'm just like my life is just work right now. So it was a real pleasure
Yeah, no, no
to talk to
worries.
somebody about something other than work.
That's
All right.
real.
All right. Bye.
All right, goodbye. Have a good evening.
All right.
Press.
I'll just stop recording and we can say a proper goodbye.
Okay, all right. I will not leave then.
Yeah. So